this. So we were just talking about how we were going to fit in our dress ups here in this paragraph, but notice we are missing a few dress ups. So we're going to need to possibly add some extra sentences when we go to write this paragraph so that we can find spaces for all of your dress ups. Okay. I was just trying to see if we could find another spot for another dress up in here. Oh, I would say up here where we have the Tuareg people are known as nomads, we could put either the word usually known as nomads or I guess we could use our word of the day here, right? We could say typically. The Tuareg people are typically known as nomads. Let's do it. We found a spot. I'm going to put a little caret there. It's a little upside down mark. Typically. There we go. We found a spot. Tyler will be happy. The Tuareg people are typically known as nomads. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We are only missing an Asia word and a who which. We could find a who which. Can you see a spot where we could maybe work in a who which clause?
Don't we already have a Asia word as? As.
Oh,
Known
yes.
as.
Yes, thank you. We do. Thank you for that. So now all we're missing is who or which. Oh, I have one. After here, after we have in the Sahara Desert, we could put which is in Africa, because that's where the Sahara Desert is, right? Which is in Africa. Squeeze it in. I know there's not much space here. Now we already have all your dress up. So all you have to do is basically copy this for your last paragraph, which is your conclusion. The Bedouin people live in different places in the Sahara Desert, which is in Africa. The Tuareg people are typically known as nomads. The most significant thing about nomads is they use their animals to carry everything they own. This is interesting because they are always moving from place to place. Or instead of interesting, you could put important there. By the way, I want to tell you, when you go to write your last paragraph, your conclusion, if in the meantime you get inspired by a new idea, you can change it up. You don't have to use this exact thing, okay? So you can change it up. Nothing's ever in stone, if you've ever heard that saying before. All right. Now I want you to turn this page over to the back side. And this might seem odd, but they saved the introduction for the last paragraph to write. The introduction, remember, is technically the first paragraph. So right here, next to introduction, I want you to write the words first paragraph. They saved this for the last one for you to work on because the introduction is honestly the most difficult one to write. But I believe in you. We can do this together. It's not going to be that hard. But they suggest that you write your body paragraphs and then your conclusion and then your introduction, even though your introduction technically goes first. It's funny. I wonder if I use that word technically more times than I think I do. I'm just pointing it out today. And now I feel like I use it all the time, but I wonder if I do. And I don't even know it. Okay, anyway. Notice down here where it says keyword outline for introduction, it says 1. There's a Roman numeral 1 here next to where it says attention getter. That's a 1 because that's the first paragraph. Then you'll see the words attention getter. Up here at the top, it tells us what attention getter means. Okay, so let's look at this paragraph at the top. Start your introduction with a sentence that encourages your reader to continue reading. Begin with a question, a fact, or a statistic, a very short sentence, or an image. When they say image, they're not meaning a picture. They mean like image with words, okay? But honestly, since this is your first time writing an introduction type paragraph, the easiest thing to come up with is a question. So a question could be something like this. Have you ever heard of nomads? That could be a good question to start with. Because remember, when we first started this report, you guys didn't know what a nomad was. Most of you didn't know. So if you see something that says, have you ever heard of a nomad? Or do you know what a nomad is? That could be something where your reader goes, a nomad? What's a nomad? That's a weird word. And it makes them want to read more. That's the whole point, okay? So your first sentence in your introduction paragraph should be something that makes the person reading it go, I want to learn more, not, this looks like a boring report, I don't want to read it, right? We don't want it to look boring right at the very first sentence. It's got to be like a pow, like a, have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a nomad? That would be another good question. Can you guys think of any other questions that we could put at the beginning?
How do people live in the Sahara Desert?
I like how you said that. That's a good one. Or have you ever heard of blue men, right? Because people might go, what? Blue? Have you ever heard of blue men? Or have you ever heard of a solar refrigerator? Or you could use little facts like that, because it does say you can start with a fact or a statistics or something like that. Or do you wonder, did you know that there are blue men in the world? Something like that.
It reminds me of Blue Man Group.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Those guys that play percussion and they use different pipes and things to, yeah, I know what
Mhm.
you're talking about. Those guys are cool, man. Yeah, it does remind me of the Blue Man Group. That then your reader might be like, oh man, I thought this was about the Blue Man Group. He might be disappointed. I don't know. So think of a question. We can keep it really simple. I think I like either, have you ever heard of a nomad, or um, have you ever heard of people called nomads? That could be a good one. So if you have a different question in mind, write the one you're thinking of or copy mine, either way. I'm going to say who are nomads because I just thought of the fact that we have a who clause here. So that works. We can knock that one out. Have you ever heard of people who are nomads? That's the one I came up with. You're free to copy that one, or if you think of a different one, put a different one. This is the easiest way to start. If you take my class next year, we can talk about other ideas of how to start an introduction paragraph that get a little bit deeper into more creative writing. But questions are good. So, starting off with a question to make your reader go, no, I have no idea what a nomad is. What's a nomad? Okay. Then it says background here. So let's look at the paragraph that describes the background at the top. This is what we're going to talk about next. Try to come up with an idea here. It says, tell your reader what the subject of the composition is. Remember, your subject is people of the desert or nomads, okay? By making a general statement about the subject. Then provide background information you think would be interesting or important. The background information should flow into the introduction of the topics. Okay. This is when we need to define nomads, because in the question that I wrote here, I said, have you ever heard of people who are nomads? That's when now the background, we need to explain what nomads are. So we're not talking specifically about Bedouin or Tuareg, but we're talking about nomads in general. So what is something we could say? Can you think of a sentence to explain what nomads are? How about Camila? Can you explain nomads? Like, what kind of people are they?
People who move from place to place.
Yes, good. People who move from place to place. I think we said that in the last paragraph. Uh-oh, mine's getting erased here, but so you're right about that, but we don't want to use the same words. So what's another way we could say that? Anybody else have an idea? You're right about that. They're nomads who move. They are people who move from place to place. But what's another way to say it, since we use those words place to place in the conclusion? When you think of a different way to say that.
People who live in more than one place.
More than one place. Okay, that would work. Or always moving. Or we already said that in the conclusion though. Or maybe people who don't have a home. Nomads are people who don't have a home, and they're always, we could say, traveling instead of moving, because we used moving in the conclusion there. Anybody else have any other ideas? Okay. I would say nomads are, actually, I'm going to erase that, sorry, because we already said people here. So nomads do not have homes. They are always traveling. I would say through the desert, the Sahara Desert. And I just had a thought too about an ly adverb. We could say, surprisingly, nomads do not have homes. So I'm just going to draw a little arrow here, because remember, we're going to need our dress up. So I might as well start thinking about where they can go. Surprisingly, comma, nomads do not have homes. They are always traveling through the Sahara Desert. By the way, that word traveling is a good strong verb. And let's see. I think that's all we have here. We have who, and surprisingly traveling. Okay, we'll keep thinking of other, oops, sorry, you can't see that. I zoomed in too far. Okay, so that's a little bit of a background. We're explaining who the nomads are and how they don't have homes, and they're always traveling through the Sahara Desert. That's mostly where they live. Now you're going to notice topic A, topic B, topic C again. Well, we already know we don't have a topic C, so we can just cross that one out. And just a little note here above, let's put a B this time above topic A and a T above topic B, because we have the Bedouin and the Tuareg. That's just an initial to help us remember. Topic A is Bedouin, topic B is Tuareg. All right, so now we need to come up with these topic sentences here for the introduction paragraph. Look up here under topics. It says, end your introduction by listing the topics you wrote about in your body paragraphs in the same order they appear in the body of the paragraph. Remember, the body is those paragraphs you already wrote. Bedouin paragraph and Tuareg paragraph. Those are called the body because they're in the middle. Highlight or bold the topic keywords. All right, so we need to come up with another sentence about each of these people, but we don't want it to be exactly the same as the conclusion. That's the tricky part. We need to make sure to word it differently so it doesn't sound like we're repeating the same stuff over and over again. For your conclusion, you said on the other side of the paper, you said the Bedouin people live in different places in the Sahara Desert, which is in Africa. So we'll need to say something different about the Bedouin people. We could say, something about how they drill for water. I know that was the Bedouin people. They have to find their own water in the desert, right? They don't carry their water with them. They have to find their own water. So that could be something we mentioned here in the introduction, just a little fact about them in the beginning. And it's kind of like, you know, kind of an overview of them, what they need as they're traveling. Does anybody else think of any other idea we could put here about the Bedouin people? This is kind of tricky. Okay. They're called tribes too, huh? Or groups of people. I kind of remember them being called tribes. Yeah. So that actually might work here. We could say the Bedouins are a tribe, are one of the tribes of people that something. What could we say there? The Bedouin are one of the tribes of people that move constantly through the desert. We already said through the Sahara Desert. Can you guys help me brainstorm on this? What can we say about, so using the word Bedouin and tribe and then telling kind of what they're about? I know. The Bedouin people are one of the tribes of nomads, are one group of nomads. That would probably work. The Bedouin people are one group of nomads. And then the topic B is going to be about the Tuareg. So we can say another tribe is called Tuaregs. Another tribe is called Tuaregs. Okay, there you go. Now, this one, we don't have all of our dress ups already marked in here. So when you go to write this paragraph, you're going to have to come up with maybe an extra sentence in here to fit all of your dress ups. Actually, this word one is a quality adjective. Let's see, we got 4 now. I think we're just missing an Asia word and a because clause. So you just need to find spots for those, okay? All right. Any questions about what we're working on? I know this is kind of new to you, a little bit tricky to do here. Can you guys think of a good spot for a because clause? Or another sentence we can add with the word because? Camila, you have an idea?
Because they are nomads, they do not have homes.
No, we have surprisingly nomads do not have homes. I don't think that would be a good spot to put because maybe we could say we could combine these two sentences right here and say surprisingly nomads do not have homes because they are always traveling through the desert. Combine those two. You guys like that one? Yeah. Okay. So let's take off this period here and put because. And then of course we got to change that to a lowercase t for they. So now it says surprisingly nomads do not have homes because they are always traveling through the Sahara Desert. Cool. And now I think we just need an Asia word as when, while, where, as, since, if, although, because. Not because, we already have a because clause. So when, while, where, as, since, if, although. So we need a spot for that. We might have to add an extra sentence here. We could say after they're traveling through the desert, we could say something like since they never stop moving, they have to bring along all of their possessions or something like that. Because in the conclusion, we said they have to carry everything they own. I think we said that. So since they are always moving, you guys want to say that? Since they're always moving, they have to bring all of their possessions with them. Okay. Put an arrow down here because I'm going to add this sentence down here. Since they are always, oh, we already said always, hold on. Since they are constantly, we already have an ly, but that's okay. Constantly on the move, they bring all of their possessions with them. Since they are constantly on the move, they bring all of their possessions with them. And then underline since. Okay, I know this is a big mess, but we're going to make it pretty. when you go to write this for your report. This is the first paragraph. I'm going to tell you something now as you're writing down the sentence. Go ahead and keep copying that sentence. I really, really, really would like for you to type this report. Some of you are already typing, and some of you are not typing yet. But this is kind of like your last paper for me for the year, and we want to have it like really nice and pretty. If you just can't stand typing and you're just like, takes you forever because you're hunting for each letter and you're like, okay, there's the L, there's the I, and it's going to take you like 20 hours to type it. I want you to at least rewrite this whole thing in a pretty handwriting, a final copy. Okay. I prefer typing. That's my number one pick. But if that doesn't work out for you, you can write it, but make it pretty. So you're going to probably need to draft your introduction and your conclusion. And then once you get it all figured out, start over, and all you're doing is copying a beautiful copy. So you're going to end up with 4 paragraphs. Introduction, which is this one. So this is what you're writing first, your first paragraph. Lucky for you, it's already figured out. All you're doing is basically copying this because we figured it out together. Then your second paragraph is going to be the Bedouin people. Your third paragraph is going to be the Tuareg people. And your fourth paragraph is going to be, I moved my paper here, this conclusion. When it's already figured out, you've already got your topic clinchers, not your topic clinchers, but your dress ups. By the way, I forgot something. I saw this box around Bedouin and Tuareg. Put a box around here, Bedouin and Tuaregs. You do not need to do a topic clincher for your introduction paragraph and your conclusion paragraph. You do need to highlight just the words Bedouin and Tuaregs. And by the way, that's going to be in the middle of the paragraph, and that's okay for your introduction and your conclusion. But highlight those words or put them in bold, okay? That's telling us your topics. Remember how it says that here, highlight or bold the topic keywords. That's all you have to do in the introduction and the conclusion, but then you have all your dress ups are already figured out for you. All right, do you guys have any questions about what I want from you for your homework this week? No questions? So you're going to turn in 4 paragraphs. You already have 2 of them done, and these are actually pretty done too. You're just putting it together all pretty for me. I want it pretty. Okie doke. Because sometimes I say I like it sloppy. This time I want it pretty. So typing is my first pick. My second pick is just, beautiful handwriting. All right, you guys, that's it for today. That was a lot, but you got this. It's going to be awesome. Your reports are going to be so good. I'm going to have you share them next week. You're all 4 paragraphs. So have them ready by class time. And then you can share them in class, and then we're going to play a game. So we're going to have fun on our last day together next week. Okie dokie, that's it. See you guys next week. Bye.